resumes, shall we? One candidate worked at McDonald's while she was in college at an HBCU. HU. The other was born with a silver spoon in his mouth and helped his daddy in the family business. Housing discrimination, that is. She became a career prosecutor while he became a career criminal. With 34 felonies, 2 impeachments, and 1 porn star to prove it.
Everybody, welcome to Ron's Talking. This is my YouTube channel, and just want to thank anybody who's watching this video today. Hope you get something out of it. Always going to be truthful to the best of my ability. My sources are always impeccable, but if you have to fact check me, go right ahead. I could be wrong. Once in a while I might slip up, I'm sure. But anyway, it's not in an effort to deceive or blind anybody. It's because I'm just trying to give it to you straight, give it to you like I see it, and let the chips fall where they may. This has been a hell of a week. Almost like every week is a hell of a week as long as Trump's been around. And for the life of me, I'm sure that there are so many people around the world and in our country are still wrestling with almost 9 years of this man being in our national limelight. He's been a disaster and a distraction and really a clear threat to our democracy. It's been said often, but nowadays the Republicans try to downplay his danger that he's shown us so many times what he's willing to do, what he wants to do, and what he's going to try to do if he can get back in office again. And our job as not just Democrats, but as people who are just sane and see things for what they are, I don't think it would be in our best interest to have that man anywhere near the White House, let alone any kind of political office. But he wants the top rung. He got lucky and got that the first time around, so we just have to make sure that lightning doesn't strike twice. Okay, I've been kind of wondering about all the talk all the time about gas prices being so outrageously high, and according to Trump, gas prices were so much lower than when he took over, and when he left, gas prices were low, and they were. There's no question about it. They were lower than they are now, but that was like in a lot of administrations, and Trump was gifted a stable economy with low gas prices from his predecessor. So don't let him fool you. Of course, he will try to do that, and he's done that with millions of people by indicating that it was only him that had gas prices at all-time lows and all this stuff. Now, let's take a little look at what Mr. Trump has been crowing about for years. When he left office, gas prices was at $2.39 a gallon, not the $1.83 or $1.87 that he claimed was, his lasting legacy to us after he left office. Of course, he's a liar about all things, so that shouldn't surprise anybody. He lied about that. But in case you didn't really realize it, national gas prices on average right now are at $3.21 per gallon, according to AAA. Not according to me, but according to AAA. And this is down from $3.36 last week and $3.94 a year ago. So prices have been steadily decreasing. Okay, and really no sitting president, not even the great Donald Trump, has had any real influence on the price of gas. At the pump, a reflection of the numerous global factors that affect gas prices most notably are supply and demand, as well as events such as pandemics. We went through one of those recently, right? Okay, and wars, and there are some other factors. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you 8 factors to consider when you reflect and relate on the price of gas and how we pay at the pump. 1 is global demand. Number 2, OPEC prices, the way they control, the price of oil and crude and all that. Taxes are involved in it, as well as environmental policies, geopolitical conflicts, logistics and infrastructure, as well as currency fluctuations. Okay. Then the last one is a changing supply landscape. So before anybody wants to jump up and immediately blame Joe Biden and Kamala Harris' administration on gas prices being so high, do your due diligence and your homework first. Okay. So just makes you more knowledgeable about things you're going to talk about when it comes to that. Just saying. Okay. My next question is to America is, how can, I guess, 30, maybe 35% of the population still supports putting this man in office, in the White House even. Now, obviously, I guess my opinion, of course, I'm sure it's the opinion of a lot of people who booted him out the first time. Excuse the coffee break here. Yeah, my wife makes the best coffee. I'm not a huge coffee drinker like I used to be, but having a cup that she makes typically always hits the spot. Anyway, a little plug for her abilities. Best thing she ever did was marry me, of course, but we'll move on for that. Now, back to Trump. Now, look, folks, look. It is clear that he is unfit for office. I mean, it's been abundantly clear over the last few years. And even now, it's even more apparent, glaring even, that he's unfit. He's a convicted felon. Now, let me ask you a question. Is Kamala Harris or Tim Walz convicted felons? Nope. B, he took a shitload of government documents with him when he left office. Took him to his crib. So I ask you this, what was the reason for him to take those documents to Mar-a-Lago? What was the purpose of it? I ask anybody, somebody, give me a salient, good, honest, common sense reason for him to take documents, not only take them, but refuse to give them up. So what do y'all think he's going to do with those? Okay? Now here's the reason that, well, I can't give a reason, but what he did initially was that he refused to give the documents back after the FBI asked him politely to return the docs after the National Archives requested that he return those documents because they belonged in the archives, not in his bathroom and his other rooms in Mar-a-Lago. Okay? Since he didn't return the documents, in March 2022, a grand jury issued a subpoena. In May of 2022, and see, in March 2022, that's when the FBI launched their investigation initially. Then in May of 2022, the grand jury issued a subpoena, and that required Trump to return all remaining classified documents in his possession. Trump, naturally, returned some of the documents, even when he said he was cooperating with the grand jury's demand. Now, Trump also suggested that his attorney should hide and destroy documents. He even instructed one of his co-conspirators, a man named Walt Nauta, to move and conceal boxes from the FBI, his attorney, and the grand jury as well. Criminal moves by a criminal. Okay? So it's been over 2 years and counting, and he still is free, and he still hadn't done all the things he was supposed to do. So, that's why he has at least 37 federal charges against him, and some of those charges carry a maximum of 20 years. You think he don't need to win this election? I think it's imperative that he wins this election. By hook or crook. Now, the next is there any other Democratic candidate or political figure that has attacked Trump or any of his allies? Just blatantly. I'll wait. None? No? Okay. That's what I thought. Okay. Has Kamala Harris ever called Trump a name? Like he's called her names. Again. I'll wait. Nobody's saying yes. That's what I thought. Because you ain't going to find no evidence. Because she's never done that. She's not that desperate, and she's not that sleazy, and she has more class than he'll ever imagine. But I move on. So somebody can tell me which Democrat has accused an ethnic group of any kind of eating dogs, cats, or geese. Come on, y'all. These are easy questions. Simple answer is nobody but Trump and some others. See, Trump has no plans for the infrastructure, child tax care credit, Affordable Care Acts, gun control. When it comes to gun control, he might want to talk a little bit about that one in light of the 2 episodes he's experienced in the last month or so. But he does have a vague concept about a lot of those things I just mentioned. Concepts, nothing concrete, but in his mind, they're in the ballpark somewhere. He'll you get me elected first, and I'll share everything with you. I'll spill the beans at that point. But until then, all I can do is promise you that I'm going to try to do it. Whatever it is. I got bigly plans, bigly plans. Then, he babbles incessantly about windmills, sharks, washing machines, washing his hair, Hannibal Lecter, just to name a few. All these unrelated topics about our country and how he will improve things if he gets back in. And we heard all this before. Years ago. Hardly nothing ever materialized. He couldn't even get his signature line off the ground as far as building a big, beautiful border wall. That old refrain, Mexico's going to pay for it. I promise you. They're going to do it. I don't know how many times do people have to listen to this man lie about everything, anything, and they still want to believe him. He knows most people are stupid enough to believe him. That's why he keeps on lying to you. So, can I say? Now, since he's good at inciting a insurrection, has VP Harris done anything like this? Once again, I'll wait. Nope. But he has. But they still support him. Now, Trump has been charged with 4 federal crimes by Jack Smith, special counsel. 1, conspiracy to defraud the U.S. 2, conspiracy to corrupt and impede the January 6th proceedings. 3, obstruction of and attempt to obstruction of the January 6th proceedings. 4, conspiracy to obstruct the right to vote and have one's vote counted. Has VP Harris done anything like that, y'all? Easy questions, easy answers. No. But they still support this man. Okay? He's still supported by millions of law-abiding citizens in this country. They're all law-abiding, but they don't want to look at the lawlessness of this con artist, this criminal called Donald J. Trump. They look past all the law breaking he's done, but they are law-abiding citizens, and they believe in law. Except when it comes to him, the laws must be altered and changed to make sure that their pappy doesn't go to jail. Mm-hmm. Now, he and his running mate, J.D. Vance, those two clowns put a whole city, not a few people, but a whole damn city in danger because of their lies that they've admitted to, especially J.D. Vance. He told everybody, oh, well, hey, if I got to gin up some stories and make up some stories and, fabricate stuff just to get the media to take a look at what's going on in Springfield, they're just going through hell. And these illegal Haitian immigrants, they're bringing disease and breaking the law, and they're eating dogs and cats, and they're just... How come it was Haitians that they decided to pick on? They could have chose any group of people, but it had to be Haitians. And Trump, he likes dealing with the Haitians. When he was over there, when they had their hurricane, and he was busy, acting like he was Michael Jordan, shooting baskets with paper towels and stuff, having them a good time. When we get on Trump's hit Con Air and go back to the United States back then, he wasn't worried about famine. He wasn't worried about missing a meal. He wasn't worried about flooding. He wasn't worried about being homeless. He wasn't worried about none of that. All he wanted was to show up and have a photo op. Anytime he can get a photo op anywhere, any place, he's going to take advantage of it, just like he did at Arlington National Cemetery. This kind of person. That's that guy that a lot of Americans want to be commander-in-chief again. His kind of character. That's their kind of guy. It's amazing how those two just did that to those people in that city. They didn't give a damn. They didn't give a damn. It's all about getting those votes. It's all about some measly ass votes. They don't give a damn who gets hurt, who gets killed. It's just collateral damage for them. That's just the price you pay, and that's just the cost of doing business. In their minds, it's politics. A couple people here and there, as long as they black, they get murdered or hurt. These clowns are sending bomb threats to these schools. They don't understand that it's not just Haitians that live there. Republicans, Democrats, liberals, conservatives, you name whatever they are, or whatever they're about, there are all kind of people that live in that city. And if an actual bomb went off in one of those places, that bomb doesn't care about who you support and what your religious affiliation is, or whether you're white, black, brown, whatever. It doesn't matter at that moment. So I ask anybody right now Why would anybody want to vote into office either one of those two numbskulls who would jeopardize a whole city just for political gain? That shows you how far this country has fallen as long as Donald Trump is running around with his criminal ass inciting violence 24/7, but then he wants to turn around and blame somebody else about the same thing that he does when they say something back to him after he started some bullshit. But that's him. That's him. And he got so many sycophants and individuals who don't give a damn about him breaking the law, just as long as they can prove a point and try to get over and achieve some of their goals and objectives by hanging on his coattails so they can all get pulled up the ladder if he gets elected. That's the biggest if in America today, if he gets elected. I myself, I'll submit it ain't going to happen. But we'll see. You know, he goes to these so-called rallies of his, and he just speaks incoherently about everything and anything, to the point that even some of his supporters, they're leaving him now because they're leaving him from just utter boredom, and because he ain't giving them anything of substance to hold on to and believe in. They know he can't lead nothing, especially after, you know, that dodo bird egg that he laid at the debate with Kamala Harris. A lot of them still support him. They still support him. Now, this guy, Trump, hangs with known racists like Laura Lunatic Loomer. He loves to cozy up to these white supremacists like Nick Fuentes and Charlie Kirk and a host of others. Now, they always say you're known by the company you keep. You know, racists kick it with other racists and bigots. Trump ain't no different. He does the same thing. You know, and about this Project 2025 deal. Now, and he claims he don't know nothing about anything that has to do with the Project 2025. But if that's the case, then number one, why is your VP nominee, J.D. Vance, written the forward to the said document? Number two, your aides know about and help craft it. Now, I would surmise that if I had people in my, in my camp that I call aides, I guess I would kind of know what they're doing. What you think? Especially if my good name, Trump, remember I said good name, but got to use him because that's what we're talking about. If Trump's good name is being mentioned 312 times in the report, don't you think he would know something about something? I mean, don't him or the VP and his aides ever communicate about anything significant from time to time? Or do they only talk when they're discussing what's on Fox and Fools, or when they go into the gym or something like that? Now, I would think that either Trump doesn't know what his people are doing, which is another indication of his lack of leadership skills. And we all know how he brings in the best people. And I don't have time to go down the litany of some of those best people that are incarcerated, have been incarcerated. Last time I checked, let's see. So, yeah, Navarro's out, but Bannon's still in. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's one of his boys, the old Steve Bannon. He's still locked up, still crying, want to be released. But they ain't trying to let him out no time soon. He knows it, but hey, can't blame a man for trying, He's the one that said that, being incarcerated wasn't gonna mean nothing to him. He was taking one for us. I like his attitude. Now, let's just face it, folks. Everybody know Trump is the worst president in U.S. history. Nobody's even in the vicinity. And I didn't even mention his mismanaging, lack of leadership and competency in handling the COVID pandemic, or his 2 impeachments. Sheer, utter incompetence at its highest level. And he was never ready to be president in the first place. He couldn't be president. Well, maybe he could be president of the KKK. I don't even think they like him to be involved with them. He wouldn't do nothing but fuck up their organization as well. And you know, I see the Fraternal Order of Police has decided to endorse this crime buster, Trump, as their candidate because since he is a one-man crime wave, he embodies everything that law enforcement reveres. A criminal felon that has stated that if he gets reelected, he can pardon all of those cockroaches that were arrested for doing their civic duties of cracking Capitol Police skulls in order to stop the certification of our national election, and then try to hand it to this worthless criminal con artist named Donald Trump. Now I ask you again another question. Kamala Harris, a former DA and prosecutor and former AG of one of the largest law enforcement agencies in the country, has she ever done anything like that? No, of course not. You know, but see, she apparently lacks the credentials for consideration from the FOP, the Fraternal Order of Police. Because 1, she doesn't have a criminal record or a mugshot. Trump got both of those. 2, she's a female, and you know the boys in blue, they can't fathom taking orders from a female, especially a black female. And number 3, she ain't committed to them to get them blanket immunity like old Captain Bone Spurs has done. You see, Trump knows that the Fraternal Order of Police will carry out his directives when it comes to police abuse of their authority, as he's a habitual abuser of the law himself, so why not have law enforcement on the side? Any dictator demands that they have that, because it makes their powers more sinister. Crooked cops love a crooked president. So in closing, here's something that always has puzzled me, folks. Now, why is it that when a white person murders or kills another American, it's just a run-of-the-mill, typical, everyday American way of life? That type of murder, you know, ones we experience just about every day from whites, blacks, Latinos, anybody. But if an Hispanic or an immigrant kills an American, especially during election time like this, because you know they lump Hispanics and immigrants in the same basket, they put them together, makes it easy for them to unleash and unload all their racial hatred towards them. But when that happens, when a so-called immigrant being deemed initially off the bat, you know they're going to call them an illegal before they even know what's happening. You know, at that moment, that's when it's time to gin up the TV commercials and put up the billboard ads, and man, they light up the landscape with those at that moment. And it seemed like they're the only people murdering white people. I've never really got that, but I kind of know what it's all about. You know. See, because American murderers, if they're white, they don't count. You're almost like the January 6th terrorists. They're a different kind of terrorist, you know. Oh, wait a minute. The MAGA troops and Trump consider those people as heroes and political hostages. I forgot. My bad. You know, come to think of it, if Trump, who loves to incite violence, then claim he had nothing to do with it, think about this for a second. If he had not opened that old trout mouth of his on January 6th and hadn't staged that speech at the Ellipse, I believe old Ashley Babbitt, among others, would probably still be alive today. Just a thought. Think about it, MAGA. Think very hard on this one. And you still support his candidacy. Oh, wait a minute. Don't forget. Don't even think I forgot about old Buffalo Butt. Not Byron Donald, but the Lieutenant Governor, old Mr. Robinson. Or should I call him Mark the Perv Robinson. I thought the Pizzagate at the porn shop scandal was the start and end of his salacious moment in the news, but he wasn't through. He just had to get his full clown on. Now, Big Daddy Draws led us into his world of perversion, peeping, and self-loathing that he prefers to be called the Black Nazi. So I guess we can't call him Lieutenant Gov anymore. And also, as an added little cherry on top of the sundae, he also wants to invest into slave ownership. That's his idea of investing, I guess. He don't want real estate. He want to get him put 2 or 3 slaves in his portfolio, I guess. His wife Yolanda, she better watch out. Pretty soon he gonna be holding Klan rallies at his house. I guess Dave Chappelle's skit about the blind black KK member wasn't too far-fetched after all, huh? Folks, I hope you enjoyed this YouTube video. If it didn't make you think, I don't know what to say for you. I had to just keep trying, I guess. It sink through some people's skulls a little bit easier than others, but hey, sometimes it takes a little bit more pushing and prodding to get people to see what's happening, really. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Throw me a few likes. A couple subscriptions wouldn't hurt either. They're all free. Don't cost you nothing. Just helps us continue doing what we're trying to do. Some of those other freedom warriors out there in YouTube land, just like myself. So again, have a great evening. Hope to see you guys soon. I'll be talking at you, and let's just keep up the good fight. Ron's out.
Hello?